My brother skipped my wedding as officiant out of spite. 5 years later he needed my $40,000. I'm Alina, and my younger brother Dylan was always the one my mother excused. He totaled her car at 17, and she called it a rough patch. He dropped out of 2 colleges, and she called it finding himself. When I paid off my own student loans by 26, working weekends at a print shop, nobody mentioned it at Thanksgiving. When Dylan launched his 3rd failed vending machine business, Mom threw him a party. So when I got engaged to Mark, I should have known better than to ask Dylan to officiant our wedding. But he'd gotten ordained online for a laugh, and I wanted it to feel like family, not a stranger reading vows off a card. He said yes immediately. Too immediately, looking back. 2 weeks before the wedding, I told Dylan I couldn't lend him the $8,000 he wanted for another guaranteed business idea. I just put a deposit on our first house. He didn't yell. He just went quiet and said, cool. Noted. On the day, 200 people sat in folding chairs in my in-laws' backyard at 11 a.m. The start time printed on every invitation. Dylan wasn't there, not at 11, not at 11:30. His phone went straight to voicemail. My mother kept saying, he'll be here, he's just running behind, while my hands shook holding a bouquet that was starting to wilt in the sun. At noon, Mark's uncle, a retired judge, offered to step in. I said yes because the alternative was standing there forever. We got married an hour and 40 minutes late, in front of guests who'd been drinking warm lemonade and fanning themselves with programs that still had Dylan's name printed on them as officiant. He texted at 1:15 p.m, sorry, lost track of time. He never called. He posted a photo from a lake that same afternoon. I didn't scream at him. I didn't cut him off publicly or make a scene at the next family dinner. I just stopped calling him back as quickly, stopped covering for him with Mom, and put everything I had into the marketing studio Mark and I had started in our spare bedroom. I worked Saturdays instead of answering Dylan's texts asking to let it go. It's not that deep. I hired our first employee the following spring. By year 3, we had a real office in Denver and 12 clients on retainer. By year 5, we'd been profiled in a regional business journal, and I bought out Mark's cousin's stake to become majority owner. Dylan's ventures kept collapsing in the background, each one funded by a new round of Mom's savings. Then last month my mother called, and I could hear Dylan in the background before she even started talking. He put a second mortgage proposal in front of a bank for a food truck franchise, and they turned him down. He needed $40,000 in 10 days, or he'd lose the truck he'd already bought and the deposit on the commissary kitchen. He's your brother, Alina, my mother said, like that settled something. I asked Dylan to meet me for coffee, instead of doing it over the phone. He showed up 20 minutes late, which felt almost funny. He talked fast, sliding a printed business plan across the table, avoiding my eyes until he got to the number. I let him finish. Then I told him I'd connect him with our studio's small business lending contact, the same one we used for our second office, and that I'd co-sign nothing, but I'd sit with him for 1 hour and help him fix the plan's actual weak spot, which was his margins, not his marketing. He blinked like he'd expected either a check or a lecture, and got neither. That's it, he asked. You're not going to bring up the wedding? I never did. I didn't have to.